Hello and welcome to Modern Skills in English. Today, we're talking about the silence, that quiet, anxious period in a new job or internship after the training is over, when you're not sure if you're doing anything right.
It's the worst feeling. I started my internship about a month ago. For the first week, everyone was so helpful, showing me everything. But now, it's just quiet. My manager is always in meetings, always looks busy. I have no idea if my work is good or bad or just average. I want to ask, how am I doing? But I feel like if I do that, I'll just be annoying, like I'm a kid who needs constant attention. So I just stay quiet. But the silence is making me so anxious.
And that's the core of the problem, isn't it? The fear that asking for feedback makes you seem weak or needy. But what if that silence from your manager isn't a test of your performance at all? What if it's a test of something else entirely?
A test of what? My ability to read minds? Because I'm failing that.
Not quite. Many students believe that being a good employee means being completely independent from day one. It means never asking for help, never admitting you're unsure. The goal, they think, is to be invisible until you produce perfect work.
Yes, exactly. You're supposed to figure it out. Asking for feedback feels like admitting you can't. It feels like a failure.
That sounds reasonable, but that belief is where the anxiety comes from. The real problem isn't your performance. The problem is you're trying to solve a communication issue with silence. You're waiting for a signal, but in a busy office, silence isn't a signal. It's just noise, or rather, an absence of it. The goal isn't to work harder in silence. It's to learn how to create a conversation.
But how do you do that without seeming disruptive, without interrupting someone who is clearly very busy?
Let's start with that first belief, this idea that no news is good news. Most students and interns operate on this principle. If the boss isn't complaining, then everything must be okay.
It's a comforting thought. It helps me get through the day, at least. I just assume if I was doing something really wrong, someone would have told me by now.
It is comforting, but it's also a gamble. A manager's silence usually has very little to do with you. It's about their own deadlines, their own meetings, the 100 other things they are managing. They assume that if you have a problem, you will tell them. When you stay silent, you are accidentally sending them a signal that everything is fine.
Oh, I never thought of it that way. I thought my silence showed I was being independent, but you're saying my silence might be misleading them.
Exactly. Your silence isn't neutral. It's sending a message you don't intend. A better way to think is that silence is simply an absence of data, and a professional's job is to get the data they need to do their work well. Actively seeking that data isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of initiative.
Initiative? I always thought that meant starting new projects or something big, not just asking a question.
Think about it this way. One intern spends 4 weeks working on a report. She's unsure about the format, but she's afraid to ask. She assumes silence means approval. She works incredibly hard. At the end of the month, she submits it, and the manager says, "This is great work, but it's in the completely wrong format. We'll have to redo it." All that time and effort was misdirected.
That is my biggest fear, wasting time doing the wrong thing.
Now imagine another intern. After 1 week of work, she sends a message. "I've completed the first section. Can we find 15 minutes next week to make sure I'm on the right track?" Who showed more professional initiative?
The second one, I guess. She's making sure her work is useful.
She's protecting the company's time and her own. That leads to the second major fear, the fear of being seen as high maintenance or incompetent.
Yes, that's the one. I don't want to be that intern who needs their hand held for every little thing. In university, you're supposed to know the answers for the exam. Asking for help feels like you haven't studied hard enough.
But a workplace is not an exam. In an exam, your goal is to prove what you already know. In a job, your goal is to create value for the team. And you can't create value if your work is disconnected from the team's needs. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to align your effort with expectations.
Align my effort. So asking for feedback isn't about me and my feelings of insecurity?
Not at all. It's about the work. A manager would much rather spend 5 minutes aligning your work early on than 5 hours fixing a mistake later. Smart, specific questions are a tool for alignment. They show you respect the project's goals.
Okay, smart, specific questions. My go-to question in my head is just, am I doing a good job? That's probably not it.
That question is vague because it's focused on your feelings. It's asking for reassurance. A professional request is focused on the work. It might sound like, "I finished the draft of the market research summary. I'd appreciate your feedback on the key findings before I build the presentation." Would you have 10 minutes to discuss it tomorrow afternoon?
That sounds so much more professional. It's not needy. It sounds like you're in control.
Because you are. You are controlling your own professional development, which brings us to the third big obstacle, the belief that your boss is always too busy.
But they are. I see their calendar. It's full. I never feel like there is a good time to interrupt them. It feels rude.
Waiting for the perfect moment is a form of procrastination because the perfect moment never arrives. This belief puts all the responsibility on your manager to create an opportunity for you. It's a passive stance. The professional approach is to make it incredibly easy for them to give you feedback.
How do you do that?
By respecting their time in the way you ask. Don't stop them in the hallway when they're rushing to a meeting. That puts them on the spot. Instead, you send a short, clear message. Your request should be so easy to understand that they can answer it in 30 seconds. It should be concise.
So a short email is better than trying to talk to them in person?
It can be. A concise email gives them control. They can look at their calendar and find a time that works for them. You're not demanding their attention right now. You are politely scheduling a small piece of their future attention.
So something like, "Hi, manager's name. Hope you're having a good week. I've been in my role for a month now, and I'd love to make sure my work is meeting your expectations. Do you have 15 minutes free sometime next week for a brief check-in? I'm flexible."
That is an excellent start. It's polite, it's professional, and it defines the length of time. It's a very low-pressure request. It makes it easy for them to say yes. You've removed all the friction.
Okay, this all makes sense. The logic is clear. But if this is true, why do so many people, even good students and hard workers, still struggle with this? What if I do all this? I send the concise email, I set up the meeting, and then the feedback is bad, really bad. Isn't it better not to know? The anxiety of waiting for that meeting would be terrible.
That's the real fear, isn't it? The fear of confirmation. The fear that the negative story you've been telling yourself is true.
Yes, the silence is anxious, but at least I can pretend everything is okay. Asking for a meeting makes the problem real.
Let's look at that. You believe that not knowing is safer than knowing. But is it? If your work truly is misaligned, every day you wait, the problem gets bigger. The small course correction you could have made in week 2 becomes a major project repair in month 2. Getting feedback, even if it's difficult to hear, is the fastest way to get better. It's a gift. The anxiety you feel is based on an implicit assumption from school that feedback is a final judgment, like a grade.
Right. It feels like I'm getting a grade on my performance, and I want an A.
In the professional world, feedback isn't a grade. It's a map. It shows you where you are and where you need to go. A manager who gives you honest, critical feedback is invested in your success. The person you should worry about is the manager who says nothing at all, or just says good job to everything. That's the manager who isn't willing to invest their time in your growth.
So negative feedback could actually be a positive sign? A sign that they care enough to teach me?
It's a sign they see your potential. They believe you are capable of improving. This entire process we've been discussing, from taking initiative to being concise, is about shifting from a passive mindset to a proactive one.
From waiting and worrying to acting and learning.
Exactly. You're not waiting for the company to develop you. You are taking ownership of your own development. And managers notice that. The very act of asking for feedback in a structured, professional way is a demonstration of your maturity and competence.
So asking isn't about my feelings of insecurity. It's a professional action. The way I ask shows them I'm thinking like a professional, not just a student who needs a good grade. The request itself is part of the job.
Now you understand. The request itself is a powerful signal. A proactive employee who wants to align their work with team goals is an asset. They are easy to manage. They show initiative. They make their manager's job easier.
So a concise email asking for a meeting to align my work isn't annoying. It's helpful.
It's very helpful. It solves an implicit problem for your manager. They want you to succeed, but they don't have time to constantly check on you. You being proactive solves that problem for them. You're managing up.
I feel calmer. It's not about me being annoying. It's about me managing my own development. The focus isn't on am I good enough, but are we aligned? That feels so much lighter.
Exactly. The question changes.
And when the question changes, the anxiety shrinks.
Hello to everyone listening. We hope this conversation was helpful. If there's a specific workplace anxiety or communication challenge you're facing, please let us know in the comments. We read everyone.